you want justice, you've come to the wrong place.
It is nonetheless a fundamental mistake to overlook the fact that Palestine Action overtly promotes unlawful violence amounting to terrorism.
I find that rather difficult to believe.
It is not, as it claims, a direct action civil disobedience protest group like the suffragettes operating transparently in the open.
That is one big pile of shit.
It is a covert organisation operating with secret cells to avoid the detection and prosecution of those using violence to destroy the property of third parties.
That was the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
It's another dark day for justice in the UK, people. Last week, we saw record sentences for 4 members of PAL Action in what can only be described as a complete sham of a trial that doctored evidence and withheld other vital material from the jury, who weren't even told that if they found the defendants guilty, then they would be sentenced as terrorists, even though they were being charged with criminal damage, and the word terrorism didn't appear on the charge sheet at all.
What?
Sam Corner received 8 years and 8 months after videos were altered to make it look as though he'd assaulted a police officer during an action at an Elbit Systems factory, even though he was in fact acting in self-defence against a sledgehammer-wielding security guard. One of the jurors was so disgusted when these facts were revealed to her that she joined the protesters rallying against the judge's verdict and had this to say about the state of the UK's judiciary. Let's see what's happening.
3 weeks of deliberation. We acquitted them of most of the charges and couldn't reach verdicts on the others. After our trial, more charges were dropped, and I was really confused to hear that CPS were going ahead with a retrial for 5 of them, only facing a charge of criminal damage. I didn't understand how it could possibly be in the public interest to retry on this minor charge when the defendants had already spent 18 months each in prison. What was kept secret from us at our trial, and from the second jury who did convict, is that if we decided they were guilty of criminal damage, they would be sentenced as terrorists. Who got to decide that? No jury has ever decided they were terrorists. No jury has ever even been told about this terrorist connection, which frankly feels tantamount to a secret extra charge. And it's only applied on what seems like the lowest charge on the sheet. I'm pleased that my jury did not convict, but I feel really sorry for the jury that did. They didn't know what they were convicting the defendants of.
Today, at the Royal Courts of Justice, supporters from Defend Our Juries and Lift the Ban waited outside as the judge deliberated the government's appeal to keep Palestine Action classified as a terrorist organisation, despite a previous hearing finding the prescription to be unlawful.
No way!
There's been concerned outcry from both Houses of Parliament since the initial decision that this classification is purely unjustified and purely political, where the Non-Violent Direct Action Group are concerned. Here's Peter Hain, who had this to say during the House of Lords debate on the prescription last year.
In 1969-70, I was proud to lead a militant campaign of direct action to disrupt all-white racist South African rugby and cricket tours, and we successfully succeeded in getting them stopped for 2 decades. I would no doubt I would have been stigmatized as a terrorist today, rather than vilified, as indeed I was then. That militant action could have been blocked by this motion, as could other anti-apartheid activity, including militant protests to stop Barclays Bank recruiting new students on university campuses, eventually forcing Barclays to withdraw from apartheid South Africa. Remember also that Nelson Mandela himself was labelled a terrorist by the apartheid government, by British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, by the United States and other Western governments during much of the Cold War.
In reading a statement that might as well have been written by Yvette Cooper herself, the judge seemed completely detached from reality and devoid of any knowledge of protest history, apparently getting everything that she knows about the suffragettes from watching Mary Poppins
If I may have a word,
as opposed to actually reading up on them, where she would have found that the Votes for Women campaign group from the early 20th century set fire to churches and train stations and even sent letter bombs to MPs' houses. Here in Manchester, we have a statue of the prominent suffragette Emmeline Pankhurst in St Peter's Square to honour their struggle for democracy, the word terrorist being noticeably absent from the memorial.
Damn right!
Tim Crossland from Defend Our Juries was outside the RCJ and had this to say about the state of so-called British justice.
Self-defeating judgment from the state today, because we know that ultimately the prescription will be found to be unlawful, if not by the Supreme Court, probably not by the Supreme Court, because let's face it, the British courts have allowed themselves to be weaponised to suppress opposition to genocide, to preserve the shares for the arms companies, just like for the fossil fuel companies. That is their job, upholding the status quo, upholding power. But this prescription will fall at the European Court of Human Rights, and we know that, because already the Council of Europe has said this is a shocking overreach, it's a shocking violation of international human rights law. So has Volker Turk, UN Human Rights Chief, so has Amnesty, so has anyone with any basic understanding of human rights law. But far more importantly, we will be winning outside court. And today, in many ways, is a great day for the movement. It's a great day for all of us who've been looking for a way to express our horror at what our government does, who before the 5th of July last year didn't know how to express our resistance, didn't know how to send a message. The government must stop using our taxpayer money to fund the slaughter of civilians, to fund the shooting of children, to fund the starvation, the rape of beautiful people in Gaza and the West Bank. But that prescription has given us such an easy way. All we need to do is sit down with our conscience, with our cardboard signs, which say, I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action, and together our resistance will grow and build, and we will win. Thank you.
Well said there, Tim. Many of the demonstrators outside were also arrested, over 100 at the time of making this video, so sleep safe in your beds tonight, people, in the knowledge that the real menace in society is being kept in a cell and off our streets. You certainly wouldn't want to be down a dark alley and find yourself confronted by someone like retired Reverend Sue Pollard here. Apparently, she should be classed in the same group as someone like, oh, I don't know, this former leader of ISIS, seen shaking hands with Keir Starmer outside 10 Downing Street. Apparently, holding a placard will see you locked in a cell, but if you and your fanatical friends behead people en masse, then you'll actually find yourself as the installed puppet leader of a Middle East country. What a time to be alive! It couldn't be clearer that this isn't justice by any definition, and the verdicts in these cases were more or less decided before a single piece of evidence had been seen. These two verdicts are as political a decision as you'll ever see, and despite the fact we live in a country where the executive is supposed to have no influence on the judiciary, it's the sort of thing you'd expect to find in a tin pot dictatorship. The only reasonable conclusion is that we live in a country whose government believe that an arms manufacturer has more right to continue making us complicit in war crimes than its citizens do to protest non-violently against that complicity. What do you think about the verdicts in these cases, and where do you think justice in the UK is heading? Let us know in the comments below. As always, your feedback is very welcome. Thanks a lot for watching to the end of the video. If you'd like to help the channel out a bit more, then please check out some of our other content and hit various supportive buttons such as like and subscribe. Super thanks are also open, and there's a link to our Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this video. If you want to go a step further, then hit the join button, and for only 99p you can enjoy exclusive perks like members only videos and early viewings, plus lots more, and you get to join the list of awesome people that you can see on your screen right now. As always, your contributions are much appreciated. Thanks again, people. My left eye will be seeing you soon.